Today we're looking at 7 types of atheism by author, atheist and cat enthusiast John Gray. He reckons you atheists out there aren't as atheist as you make out. Let's check it out. Well, there are 2 big ideas in this book. The first is that there is no single unified version of atheism. If someone says I'm an atheist, you need to ask, what kind? Gray identifies at least 7 types of atheism, hence the title. These include new atheism, secular humanism, evolutionary humanism, political atheism, God-hating atheism, nihilistic atheism, and mystical atheism. We'll explain a couple of those in a moment. But the second big idea in the book is that most atheists are really inverted believers. Many claim to reject God, but hold on to deeply monotheistic ideas like purpose, progress, redemption, objective morality, and simply replace God with some other thing to give their life meaning and eventually save the world, like science, technology, politics, or humanity. He says they can be just as dogmatic and full of faith as their religious counterparts. Concludes, if you want to understand atheism and religion, you must forget the popular notion that they are opposites. Now let me say 4 things I really liked about this book. First, it packs an impressive amount of research and insight into a very concise book, which is rare. Gray is a great historian, effortlessly drawing lines between points and people in history. The Gnostics to Nietzsche to the Nazis, Augustine to Dostoevsky to transhumanism. It's just an enjoyable read. But second, this was a refreshingly honest book. Gray is an atheist, but in contrast to, say, Dawkins or John Lennon, who'd have us believe if everyone was atheist, the world would be pretty much like an episode of Care Bears, Gray is under no such delusion. The first page catalogues the many serious problems with atheism. For example, people frequently ending up with no purpose or meaning, the loss of ultimate order or justice, no clear foundation for morality, always teetering on the edge of dangerous relativism or nihilism, rampant individualism or self-deification, and the relentless search for a God substitute. Now this surprise opening really caught my attention, showing that Gray has wrestled deeply with the difficulties of his own position and read other opinions. Gray plays his hand early on, saying he is, quote, repelled by the first 5 types of atheism, but drawn to the last 2. That also was intriguing. Third, I was genuinely convinced by his arguments. I found it really helpful to stop thinking about one type of atheism and to note the differing visions. His idea that the Western mind has been so shaped by Christianity that most forms of Western atheism aren't really full-blown atheism, but just secularized Christianity was really persuasive. This explains the bitter God hatred and unending God surrogates of many atheists. Gray says quite powerfully, they never left the Christian drama, they just took the devil's side. Wow. Fourth, he picks the right fights here. Gray trashes the textbook atheist debate of science versus religion as tired, discredited, and best forgotten. He says the real conflict is not between religion and science, but between Christianity and history. Christianity is liable to falsification by historic fact. If Jesus was not crucified and did not return from the dead, the Christian religion is seriously compromised. Christians have been saying this for literally 2,000 years. If you can disprove Jesus' resurrection, it's game over for Christians. If you can't disprove the resurrection, it's game over for all other philosophies and religions. Put simply, this is the critical debate in academia and the critical question in your life. If you don't have a decent answer for the resurrection, every other pursuit in your life is basically dodging the question. But even more insightful than what he said about that was what he said about atheism. Gray says the real issue for most professing atheists isn't actually believing in God. That's frequently a smokescreen and a waste of time debating. The real issue is believing that God is good when life is so full of suffering. Many atheists functionally believe in God, they just don't like him. This explains why many, like Dawkins, Hitchens, Stephen Fry, etc., don't tend to engage with philosophical, theological, or historical arguments about God, but moral ones. How can God allow natural disasters or the crucifixion? Gray says that Dostoevsky really understood this as the principal arena with his atheist character Ivan Karamazov, who eventually admits, it's not that I don't accept God, it's that I want to return my ticket. This is so helpful for atheists and theists to appreciate so that we can get on talking about topics that are actually helpful to us. Well, finally, let me say one thing that wasn't so good in this book. Gray finds a ton of problems but provides no real solutions. In his own words, he has no remedies for the ills he diagnoses. Ultimately, Gray still wants to call himself atheist, but he also wants to distance himself from all the baggage that comes with that, like relativism, nihilism, hedonism, materialism. But he doesn't say how. He says he likes to live in creative contradiction and illusion. The world is absurd and meaningless, he says, but because we can't seem to function without purpose, our best bet for happiness is to live with the illusion of meaning. Moreover, we should give up faith in progress and humanity. Here, he claims, outside the clutches of God, there is no problem of evil because there is no such thing and we can find peace. Now, aside from the fact that he just painted yet another redemption story that he claims to hate so much, and the fact that someone who genuinely didn't believe in human progress probably wouldn't bother writing a book, I just don't buy that anyone finds it peaceful or comforting to live knowingly in illusion. And I don't know anyone who functionally believes there is no problem of evil. Gray writes a brilliant book, but his ultimate position is implausible. For me, the book functioned as a real defeater for atheism. So would I recommend this book? I would absolutely recommend this book to anyone who calls themselves an atheist to see the roots of atheism, the logical outworkings, and indeed the different moral and political visions. For anyone wanting to engage with atheist friends, this is also a helpful read. It's quite academic, but it's also short and filled with stories. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and subscribe for more reviews and videos. Have a good day.